Listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Pearl. I'm happy to welcome you this morning to our Digital Marketing for GoldMine presentation. We're going to be showing you a product called IntelliClick, giving you an overview of a tool that has some very nice integration with GoldMine and is able to assist you in getting your email marketing efforts and your website tracking efforts both tracked into your GoldMine environment, but more importantly, help you identify who's most interested in what you sell and give you a chance to really pursue these opportunities. I'd like to also welcome Rob McCulloch from Mastermine, who's been very nice enough to send out this invitation for our presentation today. And so Rob is going to be participating with us today as part of our presentation when we talk about some of the reporting capabilities we offer with the tool, and in particular the capabilities of Mastermine and some of the toolkits that are available that tie in with the IntelliClick results. So hopefully you'll find this to be a very informative presentation. We are recording it so that we'll have a recording available for associates of yours who may have not been able to attend today. Also, should you have any questions along the way, do feel free to post them in the questions area. What we will do is we'll hold those questions till the end and then respond to them. So do feel free, though, to post along the way as we go. As a brief introduction, IntelliClick, the product, has been available in the market for about 5 years now, and GoldMine was the first CRM system that we integrated with and probably has the most robust feature set and capabilities. We like to believe that it's really now starting to look more like the next generation of email marketing because what we've tried to do is make the tool be something very interactive, and so that, as we say, you get to start a dialogue with your audience. What I'd like to do is highlight to you just a couple of email marketing facts for those of you who may or may not be doing any form of email marketing today. These are some interesting facts to be aware of, that email marketing is still considered to be one of the best return on investment vehicles to use to do marketing with over $40 per dollar spent and invested in this type of medium. So it does, and it is a very popular one, as you'll see in some of the statistics we have here, and it's very popular among those who are responsible for email marketing in corporations. Response rates with email marketing will vary by who your audience is. Obviously, if you're marketing to your customer base, you'll probably get higher open and click-through rates. If you're going to a prospect or a database that is not as knowledgeable about you, that rate will go lower. The industry average is somewhere around 5.2% click-through, which is saying this is how many people you're likely to see actually react to your messaging. These are stats as of the end of 2011. We try to obtain whatever's the most recently published statistics on this. So when we provide IntelliClick to our client base, we try to give you some good ideas on how to both craft your emails, subject lines, who you're sending from, the sender, reputation. All of these come into play on how well you will do in getting through to people and getting response. So with our product, not only do we sell some software and teach you how to use it, we do some lunch and learn programs that give you more insight into how to take advantage of both our technology and what's going on in the industry in general. So our company really is trying to work with our clients to really get the most out of the technology that they purchase. Now, what I'm going to do is move over to taking a little bit of a look at what IntelliClick and GoldMine do. So I'm going to go over here to the GoldMine system. We're demonstrating this in the recent, one of the most recent versions of GoldMine, Premium Edition. And you'll see that the way we've set up our particular software, we have some fields we've put in that kind of help us exemplify the things you can do with the product. I'm just going to quickly assign a sales rep here to this account. And as you'll notice, when the rep was assigned, it's also, and I put myself as the salesperson, but it allows me to assign some additional information which will then allow dynamic alerting. So we're going to be talking about our product and what it does to help engage your salespeople in the sales process when somebody is showing interest in an email campaign. Dynamic alerts is one of the unique features of our product and a particularly powerful one because of this ability to engage and start a dialogue between your sales folks and the audience as they show interest in a campaign. You'll notice there's some other fields we've set as part of our example here where product interest fields can be set up in your system, and those can be flagged through a click. So you can make certain types of website visits or pages that you send people to automatically update fields that you can then subsequently filter or group from and do other types of campaigns based on specific product interests people have. We'll also be talking today a little bit about how a Mastermine report can allow you to drill down on those same type of interests from simple navigation behavior. We'll talk about our navigation tracking and how you can isolate people that have interests through that behavior and then be able to set up groups and execute campaigns against those specific interests. I think one of the keys to being successful with email marketing is really trying to focus on what people have the most interest in so that future messaging ties to that, and your response rates typically will go up as a result if you're sending them things that they've already indicated seem to be of interest to them, whether it's product specific or otherwise, services you offer. The different things they've been looking at and showing response to are the ones you want to best focus on a going forward basis. Now, with IntelliClick, it's really a fairly simple, basic process to execute an email campaign. We allow you to use any type of document templates in the email document template area of GoldMine. You basically create, or if you've already created these in the past, you can use these templates that already exist, and I'm just going to open up an example here, to insert hyperlinks that have some of this intelligence to drive interest and traffic to your website. Now, you'll see this particular one I'm opening up here has all kinds of different abilities to track. It includes the ability to click and look at specific pages, one-click call to actions to allow people to be quickly opted into a newsletter, receive a phone call, or have literature sent to them. And all of these require a single click that will then trigger and tell our tool to do that action, whether it's updating GoldMine or sending back information you've defined from the click and starting the sales process so that you can really short-circuit a little bit the time it takes to get them interested and involved without having to use your sales team's time to do some of these steps. It's going to automate that. We also include the ability to do an event registration on a single click. So rather than having to have forms filled out, if you have an event and you want them to just simply sign up and show that in your system scheduled as an attendee, one single click does allow you to do that, and then we will schedule them to participate on that day and time for the event, all ready to go inside of GoldMine. We do include a forward to other capability where this can allow them to pass the or provide you other people's names and emails to have the email forwarded on, but that captures those new names instantly into your GoldMine system and then starts to track those new referred leads in your system so that you may be presented with more opportunities to market to others that they have referred or had your email forwarded on to. So lots of very good, robust capabilities that are really very tightly tied to sales and the sales process. We'd like to say that IntelliClick is a little more than just simple email marketing or email marketing tracking. It really is designed to tie in your sales process and to try to bridge your sales and your marketing teams closely together through this tool. Now, in addition to having these templates, I'm going to launch the wizard, and this wizard is really what drives a lot of the different abilities you have with our tool. So the IntelliClick wizard has a few different modules to it. The HTML template area is one that we provide to you with a very robust online editor account. So this library of templates, of which there's anywhere between 600 to 900 templates, depending on which version of our product you buy, the ability to test your messaging against different platforms, both mobile device platforms as well as various email platforms, is also possible through this tool. But the important thing is you have a very large array of professionally designed email templates to start with. Some people say, well, what if I just want to build my own from scratch? The drag and drop template area is where you have just some very basic designs that give you different formats. And as you want to sort of look at these, you can walk through them and see the various possible formats depending on what your message needs to look like, what type of columns and what kind of graphics you want to place into the message. And then once you say, this is a design that I want to use, you're able to pick that design and then very quickly start to upload your own images. You can set, of course, the text, and you can do various things to this very quickly, very easily through this editor. What's very powerful about it is not only can I very easily put my imagery that becomes web-based, so in this area here I can go and browse images from my computer. I'm just going to pop over here to pictures as a quick example. Let me see if we have something here that we can use in this category. Let me just grab one of these. Let's grab this one right here and pop that in. So putting imagery into these placeholders that are provided, you'll notice that, of course, I chose a very large image that doesn't ideally suit the space provided, but I can adjust it. So right from this little slide bar, I can get the image to be cropped to a size that will fit the provided space, apply that crop, and in a moment that becomes the image that gets used inside the template. So a lot of very nice little ways for you to add your own imagery that becomes web-based. The templates themselves have a lot of very nice designs too, so you can use preset designs to also start the point of design of these templates. But once, and you'll notice here, there's my testing capability, which allows me to, let me just throw a little subject line in here. And the testing will allow this email to be fed into a tool that will then render the actual emails across various platforms, various types of email clients, so that I can see whether what we're designing is really going to work and show nicely for people receiving my email in these different types of tools. So this will take a few moments to render, and I'll just speak to the tool. It renders against things like some of the various web clients, AOL, Gmail, Outlook.com, and Yahoo. It shows you across other PC-based clients like Apple Mail, Outlook, all various versions of Outlook, Outlook Express, and so forth. And then it looks to the three most popular device platforms, which is the Droid, the iOS, or I should say the tablet iOS, iPad, iPhone, and it's going to show me exactly how my template will render, and then you can drill in and actually see precisely the experience your viewer will have on your template. So in this particular one, I can see that they're going to have to scroll down a little bit, but the width of it does not require scrolling. So it will show, reasonably nicely here on my Droid or my, my Apple phone, as an example here. So again, some very nice capabilities here to easily take a look at, and as it's gradually rendering them, it makes them available to see how they will look. If I'm saying, well, Outlook 2013, how will it look in my Outlook environment? There's what the template will look like there. Because these templates have been professionally designed, they've really been optimized or designed to be optimized for all kinds of different email clients as well. So you can expect that most of them should render pretty well if you're building from our library we provide you. So let me just go back over now into our GoldMine environment, bring back our little tool. So that's the area we give you the ability to construct and build very powerful imagery, very powerful messaging. And then once you bring over those HTML files into your document management center in GoldMine, you're now able to execute your campaigns. Well, putting intelligence on the campaign, and I'm going to go back and open my template, is as simple as taking advantage of our wizard and starting a campaign where I simply enter what the name is of this campaign, whatever is going to be meaningful to you as you see this reported back to you in various types of reports. You basically can pull prior used campaigns. So if I'm sending another wave of the same campaign, we do store those campaign names so that you can accurately reuse the campaign and everything will track correctly to that. You then determine really what is the type of tracking I'm looking to do. Most commonly, a web page link, somewhere that I'm going to send people to my site is the common way for this to go. But you do have the ability, let me just get that out of the way. You do have the ability to say, I just simply want to track an open or unsubscribe, or I want to go a little bit deeper and provide certain types of what we call call to action capabilities for people to receive literature, sign up for your event, immediately ask someone to call them, forward your message, or simply opt into your mailings. So these one-click actions, and it's important that it be a single click, because the more you ask people to do, the more likely they will just not move forward. If you move them onto a page, they have to do more things like fill in forms. That typically discourages response. So this, and ultimately you want to have a single-click response, ideally, in the mix. Web pages are going to be the most common links you're going to create. And in our tool, we simply allow you to pick prior used URLs. So if you've already used a URL in the past, you don't need to remember your syntax. You can go back and say, this is going to be a training-related link. Maybe I'm sending it to my training page. You may decide that you want email notification at the time they click. Because we've set up dynamic fields in GoldMine that allow me to dictate who's the sales rep, I can use that field to dynamically tell the salesperson assigned that somebody has just clicked to go to this training page for the Imagine campaign. I can also tell other people internally or externally. So I can have J. Doe here at another domain can be also alerted simultaneously. So if you're doing a campaign and let's say you represent some kind of product for a manufacturer, somebody, and you want to let them know the kind of effort you're making to market their product, you could have a contact point that's being notified on their side of interest on the campaign you've just sent on their behalf from your system. So a nice way to engage internal and or external individuals. You might also at the same time say, you know what, I want to make sure somebody follows up on this person who's gone to this page, and I can decide whether it's going to be the assigned rep that I schedule the phone call to, or I may say, no, I want to specifically have an individual internally designated to have that put on their call list. And within seconds of the click, I've now scheduled a call, in this case to Jane, to say we want to follow up, and of course what they need to know is being put into GoldMine, the name of the campaign, the date and time that the person clicked, and it schedules it to jump up on their screen immediately at the time of the click. A third option is text messaging. So for some of you, you may say, well, you know, that's an even better way to reach out to our salespeople and tell them of that interest. And so you can have, again, dynamic fields used for the mobile phone number of your rep and what carrier. And that will text exactly what we would send in an email, can be in the form of a text message going to their phone at the same time. You're noticing I can have all three behaviors simultaneously occur. So I can be alerting different people different ways on the click, depending on what makes sense for you. On the additional parameters, we have the ability here to also update GoldMine in a field. So the data field right back is a nice way to say I have a certain field. Maybe it's a product field. I'm going to go to my, let's see here, if I go to the eTrack field, which is my eTrack tracking, and I might want to just simply put the value of yes. So if, in this case, I want to have a field be updated with a yes on eTrack, it will do that upon the click. And that's another nice way to be able to segment your database later on. Now, another feature that I don't know if many of you know about is the email merge code capability, where you can have people be part of different mailing lists, opt-in lists, by appending codes to their email address. And so here I can use these codes that you may have put into GoldMine, for instance, a newsletter or training information. Since I'm sending them to the training page, I'm going to opt them into future training mailings by telling it to use my training code. And what this will do is we'll append that little character A into the email into the email merge code field, and now they can be isolated on future sends of any campaign relating to training. So lots of different ways we give you the ability to not only update GoldMine, but then be able to effectively use it to segment what list and what people you're going to send to. In this tab, we by default set our behavior to not track data in history. So you do have the ability to track in history, if you wish, different behavior. We track everything actually in GoldMine to a little tab that's called Click Track. So the Click Track tab is where we actually store this information for you to quickly be able to look at and review any different individuals on a particular record and what they've looked at, what they've done tied to their behavior. And our reporting, whether it's Mastermine reporting or Crystal reporting or any of the reporting tools, we'll also be talking about our dashboard as well today, all those tools tie to this area for the statistics. An advantage of using history, though, is if you wanted to drive certain things to happen next using automated processes, putting something in history, GoldMine's automated processes do allow you to trigger off history as well as fields. So write backs to fields, write to history would give you the ability to set up automated processes to monitor certain types of behavior and then be able to execute subsequent drip marketing, for instance, against that behavior. So lots of possibilities, and for those of you working with GoldMine consultants, a lot of them who also represent IntelliClick, are good resources for you to talk about where can you introduce automated processes into the mix, whether it's from your web site and forms or track data through IntelliClick. Both can be very valuable ways to do it. Again, I'm going back to the wizard. So I'm showing you all the possible capabilities a given click can do, and that's how we got to IntelliClick. There's a lot of intelligence around these clicks. You don't have to apply them on every click. It is really up to you what you're looking to do on a given campaign. The only thing we require is that there be a URL. You do need to send them somewhere, and you have the option to, if you don't want to find out where they go next, turn off the web nav tracking. By default, once they hit your site, we're going to start to monitor where else they go, what else they do, the pages they visit. And that tracking doesn't just stop after that first time. It keeps going on the subsequent days, weeks, and even months that they might return by opening their browser and returning to your site. So a lot of good feedback is coming into your system that can be very valuably used by your salespeople if they're going to take some follow-up steps. The wizard then finally presents you with a screen to then generate the code that you're going to use for this hyperlink. So this one single screen allows me to generate that initial open tracking code if I want to make sure opens are tracked in this message, the code to allow people to unsubscribe and make sure you're in compliance with CAN spam, and the link itself. And each of these buttons, when you click on them, presents you with the instructions of what you need to do next. So in this case, it's telling me that my link has been prepared and is on my Windows clipboard, and it's telling me I need to put it into the location of my template where I want it to go. We leave that instruction on screen so you have it to refer to, and then you would just simply come back, pick the area of the template, whatever it is that you want to hyperlink, and then paste it right here into that hyperlink area. That now has set a coding that when you merge and send this message to your audience, all this intelligence and behavior will start to be triggered and and update your system accordingly. So lots of different capabilities, and it all ties back to what you want to accomplish in your marketing campaigns. The deeper the level you want to go of information, the more you would use on a given click as you go through it. So that's the simplicity of building the template with our editor, the insertion of the intelligence, and then we provide you with a mechanism to execute your sends. So let's go over here to the main menu, and I'm going to move over to the IntelliSend area. And the IntelliSend module has been designed to really give you a very effective mail merge engine. So this is an engine that is outside of the GoldMine sending engine. You don't actually, with our tool, use GoldMine to send your mail. You actually use IntelliSend. IntelliSend has a number of capabilities, including our data integrity management area. This is a nice one because this gives you the ability at any point in time, whether you're doing a campaign or not, to really look at the integrity of the data in your database. Part of that integrity is making sure that anybody that has not had or has had failed sends because they are non-valid emails, what we call hard bounces, to be flagged back into your system. Because we provide you an account with Unified Email, they're our partner for email delivery, we have the ability after your send to track and flag email addresses that were determined non-valid based on any one of the campaigns you've done. If you choose to update the data, you would click here. It goes out, checks your account, finds any emails that may have been flagged as hard bounce. This looks back as much as 90 days worth of data, brings down to your system the email addresses that are found, and then compares it to your system or database and updates and flags them if one has not been flagged before. So what we're really helping you do is make sure that the integrity of the emails from the perspective of being valid have been done prior to you doing any future sends. What's important to try to make sure you don't get blacklisted, that you really stay in compliance with canned spam, is that you don't keep resending to invalid emails or to people who have opted out. Those are critical to keeping you off blacklists, as an example. In this case, anything that needed to be flagged has been flagged in the past, so it's telling me that there's no need to deal with this, that nothing had to be flagged in this case. What it will then do is it'll go and display for me any of the prior flagged hard bounces, as well as any malformed emails. So here it's showing me that I do have some emails that aren't deliverable. Can't use these emails until I fix them. And we make it easy for you to build a group by simply selecting them, and then it will build a malformed email group for you that you can then go in and fix or remove any bad emails. The other thing we do is give you the ability to manage the hard bounces. These are the ones that have been flagged as a result of those past sends. And here again, we give you the option to have the email deleted but stored in history. So you have an archive of that prior used email that's no longer valid. We also allow you to group all records that have these hard bounce emails. We also allow you to output it to a file. So a lot of good ways to manage both malformed and hard bounce. Now, we've introduced in the last 3-4 months the ability to also do verification of your database for prior to doing any sends. And so our email verification file capability allows you to pick any part of your database, whether it's the entire database or a subset, a group. But I'm just going to go ahead and tell it, let's just pull a list of my entire database. In this case, there are 490 emails that make up this database. So I already know ahead of time this is how many it's going to generate. I identify myself as who's the requester. I have to agree to our terms and conditions on this. And when I execute this, it will push a file over to our system for validation and send a copy of that file to whoever is the requester, so you can see exactly what is being verified for you. This service we provide has a cost of 1.5 cents per email for validation. So it can be 1 or 1,000. It makes no difference what size your file is. It's a flat 1.5 cents to get it validated. When we're finished with the validation, you receive back a file that you can then, for all the non-valids, what we care about is making sure the ones that aren't deliverable, because those people no longer exist at those domains, can be applied. And so you would load the hard bounce file from this button, point to the file we sent you wherever you happen to save it, and we will flag and make sure those hard bounces don't get used on future sends. So again, all of these validation capabilities, all the integrity capabilities is making sure that your database is in good order to execute your campaigns and keeping you in compliance with regulations and so forth. We have some people who move over from other products, whether that be Constant Contact, MailChimp, or otherwise, and they already have a list of people who have unsubscribed or who have been deemed undeliverable. And so these same hard bounce, load unsubscribe files allows you to pull that list the day we install IntelliClick and flag out those emails in your system, so day one you're now in compliance, and on a going forward basis our tool keeps you that way. So we have made sure that it's a very easy transition to move from any other system if you feel IntelliClick is going to give you a little more capability that takes your email marketing a little further. We also use that, by the way, for people who've been keeping track of unsubscribes in different fields in GoldMine, where we will pull a list right out of GoldMine and then update it using this same capability. So we make sure day one on install everything is flagged and you're ready to start email marketing through the GoldMine database and do it in compliance with regulations. I'm going to pause here for just a moment to see if we have some questions to be answered. So just give me a moment. So we have a question about, can call to action options be renamed to something else other than the default values? Not quite clear what that question means, but the call to actions are pretty much a category of action that we're providing. Certainly if there's more questions on this, I'll make sure you have an email address and a contact info. You can certainly get in touch with us and we can maybe delve into that a little deeper for you. With an email, can IntelliClick update two fields relating to an open or a link? At the moment, opens are not something that we use as a basis to do field updates. But yes, you can update more than one field at the same time from a click. So the question is, can that happen? And the answer is yes. It is possible to update one or more fields simultaneously from a click. So that answers those questions. And so again, this is our whole sending tool options. But now when I actually am ready to do my campaign, I simply connect to the database. Again, we always make sure that you've updated to be sure any prior sends and any hard bounces are being flagged. So if you say yes, it would go and make sure that's done. And then once you've done so, you go and you pick the group in your database that you've built, whatever that group is, the target audience, and whether that is your entire system or any subset that you might want to use. I'll go ahead and just load up my whole database here. I can then go ahead and tell it to use, in this case, a GoldMine template. We do have some other very interesting options, like using just a straight HTML file that's been created for you by, let's say, your ad agency. And if you insert your hyperlinks into that template, you can just point straight to the file. It doesn't even have to live in GoldMine. I won't get into it today, but our auto template feature is a very nice batch capability that allows you to, for instance, have multiple territories set up, and you can then send against different sales rep territories and be able to actually manage what those territories receive in terms of the template, the subject line, the from address. And so I can simultaneously send on behalf of numerous salespeople one single campaign against their territory and have tracking, of course, occur to their accounts without having to do it one by one. So I can now take my whole database and have the batch send execute to each individual territory simultaneously. Very powerful way to execute on behalf of many other salespeople. The template, again, here is where I'm going to go in and I'm immediately given a list of all my templates. This is the one I have with a number 1. I like to have it right at the top, easy to get at. The good news is what you call it in GoldMine and what you call it when in the actual subject line that goes to your audience can be completely different. So you can name your templates anything you want, and at the time of the send, we give you the ability to adjust that subject line to whatever is meaningful. And really, subject lines are one of the key things to getting people to be engaged and open your message. So subject line is very important. We sometimes will spend 30 or 60 minutes just trying to figure out different subject lines to see what one we think is going to work well. And if you want, you can always split up and use a couple of different groups to use different subject lines and in effect do some A/B testing by splitting up your campaign into smaller segments with slightly different approaches. You associate the campaign to, or the send to the campaign that it pertains to. In this case, this one is my Imagine campaign. And that way we're going to track who received the mailing and then be able to compare and statistics on what rate of open and click and all the other behaviors that we're tracking along the way. Send methods, you can define as many send froms as you like. So when I'm doing a send, if this is on behalf of a specific salesperson's territory, right here I can just pick the specific send from, and there is no limit to the number of send from addresses you can create in the system to execute sends. I can limit this to primary emails, primary and additional. I can drill down a little further and even limit it to codes that are in our system, so that if I want to limit it down to a specific type of email merge code, again for segmentation, I can be very, very targeted on who is going to receive that mailing. I can then preview the list of what it finds based on what I've just isolated it to. I can see all the list of names of people that are going to get it, and then when I click on any one of these, it will display my message in a preview mode, so I can actually preview it. If I want to test it, I can actually click. These links are now all live. They're ready. And if I click on any one of these, it will start the tracking behavior and allow me to actually test it out. But a good way to also test it is to send yourself or your colleagues a test message. So right here I can say it's using the send from, it's assuming that the person that I'm sending from is the person that wants to receive the test message. But this could be sent to anybody, my name at mydomain.com, and that's where that message would go. Similarly to being able to get a test message into your inbox to test it out, you can also do what's called a content analysis message. That will take the email and send it. You identify who the results come back to. So this is an email where I want my results. It will send this over and have Spam Assassin evaluate your message, score it, and give you back exactly what is the likelihood or issues, if there are any, with your message that might prevent you from getting through the common spam filters out there. So we do allow you the ability to really test that out very quickly through this mechanism over here. Assuming all is good, we basically now can just execute the send. I'm not going to do so, but if I click OK, it will now merge and execute my send to the 485 emails that are out there. It actually might be lower because I've told it to limit it to an email merge code, and when it does, it will bring down that number at the time of send to just who's getting it and display exactly how many are receiving the message. I do have the ability to throttle sends and delay them or schedule them to a day and time that I want them to go out. So we do give you a little bit more ways to manage the execution of the send here. Again, this is a little bit of a ability to truly have full control over your send process as you execute with IntelliSend. Now, the final step of this process is, so how do I make sense of all this information after I've done my campaigns? And we're going to talk about three ways to evaluate or assess what's going on as you do these campaigns. I'm going to talk about the built-in reports that we provide you. These are reports that we put into the GoldMine menu area. They are crystal reports, and we do provide you the ability to run crystal reports. Typically, GoldMine, up until very recently, provided the runtime engine for Crystal, and so most of you who already own GoldMine have that engine and have that ability to do so. In anybody who's bought GoldMine in more recent times, that is no longer being provided, but we have an engine we provide that will still permit the capabilities. So we do make sure that there is the ability to run these reports. And again, we have a whole series of reports. I'm only going to show one example from here as one that we find to be a very useful one, the success ratio and tracking report. When this report is run, it allows me to pick which of my campaign or campaigns I want to evaluate. So up pops a little window that prompts me for, in this case, the various campaigns stored in my system and allows me to say which of these do I want to look at. So I'm going to just do a side-by-side comparison on these three campaigns, and momentarily I'm going to get to see a snapshot of what has gone on, and in real time, what do I have in my database at this moment against these various types of actions that we track across these campaigns. And so it gives me my success ratios and all kinds of information, but I can then drill down and see specifically who has clicked and who's my most recent person to do so, who has navigated my pages, and which pages or clicks have they clicked on. These you're seeing here are the on-click capabilities of our tool that allow you to track what people do at within a page. So if somebody clicks to watch a video, download a PDF, we can track that as well as browsing other pages of your website. So on-click is a very new feature we've added that gives you a little deeper level tracking against behavior within the pages you offer. But all of these give you meaningful information. Here's my lit request telling me what literature was fulfilled to them, if it's a registration to an event, which event did they register to, and so forth. And so my forward to others is showing me the new names of that have been added to my database from that forward to other behavior. So a very nice way to analyze and see in both graphical, let's see, here we go, graphical as well as numeric analytics. A second way to quickly look at your information is an area called the dashboards, and I'm going to quickly do a refresh here of the dashboard. So in this case, I maybe want to extend this maybe to all. Let's just grow this a little bit bigger. And so here I have another way to look at that same information on a campaign-by-campaign basis, and then I can, so if I go to my first responder here, it will break out for me exactly all the different behaviors, and if I want to then drill to the specific behavior, like people who've clicked, I can do that and quickly see who are the people who've done the most or least activity and drill right down by clicking on their name to see more details about what they've done, or maybe I might want to choose to follow up with them from that. So the dashboard is a very quick, let me see what's going on within minutes after I send my campaign and see what kind of interests we're showing. But there's a third way to really drill into what you have in GoldMine, and that's using Mastermine and some of the various templates that Mastermine offers. And so if you do have Mastermine, you are able to launch it from, of course, inside of GoldMine. And I'm going to pull up an example of some of the ways you can look at and categorize and drill down. And I'm going to ask Rob, if you wouldn't mind, Rob, jumping on here to maybe talk a little bit more about some of these capabilities. I'm going to make sure you also have access to the mouse, so it's all yours.
Sure, Steve. Okay, thanks. So what you've seen, of course, is this capability that Steve's talking about. I think one of the great things about it is that it really feeds a lot of, potentially feeds a lot of very useful information into GoldMine about your prospects' response to your email marketing. I mean, that's kind of the core of it, I think. And with all that information flowing into GoldMine, one result is that you should be able to get a lot of analytics, a lot of understanding of what your marketing is actually doing. So what Steve showed you makes it easy to generate that information. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? This is an example of a Mastermind report that actually Steve and I put together over the course of about an hour yesterday and today, and these are some views of what actually gets tracked into GoldMine. So if you think about it, every time somebody receives an email and clicks on a link to the web page, to your web page, that fact that they clicked on that link is inserted into GoldMine as a single event under history or under the click tracks tab that Steve was talking about. So with that activity, what we're looking at here is, for example, this is a summary for the year 2013 in the database that Steve is looking at here. It's a summary of the 242 actual end user or recipient actions that they took as a result of receiving emails or extending from there into their web navigation that came after that. What we've done here is group together the different types of URLs, so we can actually see I'll just roll down, I think one of these. Let's do the on-click tracking here. So this can show you the actual activity that happened. Now these aren't URLs, because these are, if you click on it in an email and let's say run a video or download a file, this IntelliClick will also track that activity. These other ones are actually the URLs that they click through to, and this will be kind of a longer list here. And you can see for each one of for each URL that they hit, we're tracking a hit here and showing just the results. In this case, an overview for all of 213 of all of the activity that happened as a result of the marketing activity. So this is across all companies. Another view might be something like this, where we look at each individual company and show the date of the most recent time that they clicked or downloaded or did any sort of a response activity to our email campaign. And so you can see company by company, when was the last time they actually had a response. Now if you want the detail for all of the response, it's of course possible to drill through, as you can with any Mastermind report. If I double click here, we'll see they actually have three, I think these are web navigation, yeah, 3 web navigations. In other words, they hit 2 different web pages, the same one twice. But that gives you the detail that's behind that date, while at the same time giving you a really strong overview of all of the experience that prospect or customer has on your website. And so in this case, Arkansas Roadshows, well, they have responded. They've clicked through on links from emails to the website. They've done a little bit of web navigation, but they have not actually been to the place on Steve's website where they can actually do a trial. Well, there's a pretty obvious follow-up thing that needs to happen. If I'm a sales manager or a sales rep and this is my list of prospects, this gives me a summary of what kind of exposure they've had to our product and our products and services, and I know what I need to do. I can call up my contact over there and say, let's get you a trial. Let's do, let me tell you more about on-click tracking, or whatever it is. So what we've got here is really we've taken our URLs, all of the possible URLs for the different web pages that we have, and grouped them into categories that tell us which areas have they had interest in the past, which areas have they learned about already, which areas have they really never experienced at all, and how do we want to follow up on that to make sure that they have the sort of rich buyer experience that we expect somebody to have before they decide to buy our product. So this is just a variation on the first report that we did. In some ways looks very different, but it's really just the same information presented a little bit different way. And then lastly, this third tab here this is actually 2 different pivot tables where we've taken where we've broken it down by campaign, showing the different URL categories. And this is really intended to give you a sense of what's the success of our different campaigns in driving prospects to our various web pages, or driving them to download our video or download our white paper or whatever it is.
Rob, I want to add one thing.
Summarizes. Yep.
Yeah, I want to add one important thing. You'll notice we're talking about categories. Those categories are ones you can define and then group together the different URLs that fit a category, because a lot of you don't analyze or look at your business based on the individual pages. You look at it as either products or services or specific areas of your business that people might have interest in. So these categories were actually built and saved to say any combination of these URLs belong to a category, whether it's the trial, the company, the on-click. Each of those we mapped so that now every time we run reports, we have something meaningful by the category, which is how we look at our business, rather than just strictly the pure URL itself. It's a nice, easier way to analyze and understand what the behavior is.
Right. And just to kind of put the cap around that, I think everybody on this webinar is a user of Mastermind, or has Mastermind in any case, one of the great things you can do with Mastermind is that pulling together, grouping together by meaning of, in this case, several different web pages from your own website, bringing them all together into a single category that really simplifies and makes it easier to understand exactly what the effect of your marketing is.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Rob. That helps. I think the tool is a very powerful one. I do want to make sure you also mention one more thing, the ability to take that result and then build a group, because we talked about the drip marketing or subsequent campaigns you might want to initiate as a result of the result. Excuse the pun, I guess. So could you just quickly speak to the fact of how you group against any result achieved?
Right. So what are you going to do as a result of what people have done? So in this case, in this report, we've narrowed it down because we want to send an email as a follow-up for 2 specific targeted prospects who have done certain activity on our website, maybe done certain things and not done other things. But in this case, what I've done is added the field. This is like a contact type field that's in the GoldMine record. They called it rank, but essentially it allows us to distinguish between prospects and customers. So I've turned off the ones that are customers here, just left on the leads, prospects, and suspects. Okay, so I've filtered who I want to send my email to, and I'm going to filter it further by saying I only want to go to the ones who are prospects that have done web navigation, or in other words, they've been to the website and gone to certain places on the website. In this case, there are 79 behind that. When I double-click on the 79, that gives me the detail of who those are, and then I go up to my Mastermind drill-down menu here and build a GoldMine group, and we're going to say send webnav email. Email. Now, some of these, there are 79 clicks represented here, but many fewer customers, many fewer prospects. That's okay. It's going to make an unduplicated list group on the GoldMine side. And now, having created that group, that's the hard part, of course, is specifying who you're going to send it to. The easy part is going over to GoldMine or using Outlook or however you want to do it and sending out.
Oops, for the groups.
There we go.
I'll get it for you.
Actually, I wanted to just do email merge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't realize you were actually going to go right to it. Okay, very good. I was going to show that it's there. Sure, go for it.
And pick our pick what
this
template.
This is the template. Yeah.
Right. So I just need any template. So whatever it's going to be, we're going to send the lead register, whatever that template, and the recipient is going to be the group that we just created over here, and I think I called it send webnav email. Hit OK, and those emails go out. And the speed and ease with which we just did that is a little bit hard to compare with what it would have taken you before to figure out, well, which segments of our prospects have actually had certain experiences with us. How do I make GoldMine isolate on just those and then quickly get an email out to them? This actually makes that very easy.
So I do want to highlight one thing that Rob has shown here. Our ability to have emails sent using GoldMine is also an option, especially the one-off emails. Sometimes you might want to send certain types of follow-up on a one-off basis where you pick a particular template, whatever that template might be, and might have a link in it that would track that they actually do something. So this can be a one-off send to a specific person and still track. Again, something you wouldn't be able to do using most other types of products or integrations. Even ones that have integration to GoldMine can't do the one-off type of send and track. Ours gives you one-off as well as the mass or the email marketing campaign approach as well. So what I want to get to within the time we have here today is to quickly go back to our slide and speak to pricing. So a lot of you may be wondering, so how does our pricing and what is the cost on IntelliClick? We do have 3 versions of the product, Light, Standard, and Premium. What differs between them is the amount of information that you track on an annual basis, the amount of email messaging per month you can send, and a couple of other elements related to the type of editor account that you have with our premium product. We give you the editor with the rendering, testing, and a higher number of templates, although that is purchasable at an additional $95 a year for our other two products. But basically, you're seeing the product ranges between $1,500 and $4,000 in the first year, and it ranges between $700 and just a little over $2,000 year 2 onward. This is an annual price. It's against the company. It is not tied to how many people use it. It is tied to just an annual subscription. And we do actually have a promotion currently underway on standard and premium. It is till the end of the month, so that's not a lot of time left. But that promotion is for people who currently are using other systems, whether it's Constant Contact, any other type of an email system, and you show that you have a license or subscription to these other products, you are entitled to a 40% discount on the product, which brings our standard, I believe, down to $1,500. So you're basically able to get our standard, which is the most popular version, down to the price of a light for the first year. The renewals are the same ongoing, but that first year is a 40%, and the same holds true on premium. You'd be at 40%, puts you just under $3,000 to purchase our premium version. But that is till the end of September, so I know it's a little short time left. Also, you're noticing that if you need more send quota, so if you say, well, geez, you know, I want standard, you're only giving me 10,000 emails, but we really send 20,000 emails, or we need that higher bit, you're going to pay $1 per thousand. So for an additional $20 a month, you would now have 20,000 emails as a quota. You can up that at any time at a cost of $1 per thousand, which I think you'll find is a very competitive rate for volume of email sending. We do have other options for people who are very high volume senders where you can have a dedicated email server, dedicated IP with a very effective reputation management being done, also with our partner Unified Email. And so for our very large volume clients, they have opted to go to a dedicated server. And the nice thing is that the start point there, it's about $75 per month for a 100,000 email per month quota with a dedicated IP and a good reputation management area. So that is another option we offer if you're in the very high volume areas. So I'm going to take another look at any other questions, and I will put up some contact information. Pamela on our end is the person who really is one of the key contact points. If you have more questions about the product, you have an interest in buying our product. For those of you who are working with GoldMine partners, many GoldMine partners are resellers of IntelliClick. It is an option to buy through them. If you don't have someone or you have a preference to purchase through us, the pricing will be no different, but you can definitely also buy directly through us as well. And let's see if we have any other questions as part of the Q&A that we have here. We have one more. Is there a limit on the number of contacts?
Let me just add, Steve.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If I could add, they can buy through us as well.
Yes, that is true. Mastermine is a reseller. And you can also buy Mastermine through us too. Yep. Is there a limit on the number of contacts email campaign to be before I could be blacklisted? Blacklisting doesn't have any bearing on how many people you send to. Blacklisting ties a lot more to a lot of other different sorts of things. It ties to whether or not you're sending regularly to invalid emails. It ties to whether people have reported you as a spammer on any kind of a frequency. If you send to people on Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, there's a nice little easy button for people to click on to say report as spam. Well, if that happens on a regular frequency, you could be blacklisted by their server and not be able to send to anybody at Gmail or anyone at AOL. Now, one of the things our tool does is it will track and flag for you people who've reported you as spam. So your email gets through, they click, that reports a flag back to Unified Email. That flag, just like our undeliverable flag, also gets pulled and updated to GoldMine so that future sends do not have emails sent to those people that have basically said, I don't really want an email from these guys, and I'm going to report them as spam. They didn't unsubscribe. They reported as spam. And those are even much worse because not only do you not want to send to them, but they're harming your reputation. If you don't resend to them, because what's going to happen is AOL, Yahoo is going to see, are you continuing to send to these people? And that means to them, you haven't properly opted them in. You haven't gotten permission from these people to send mail, and you keep doing so. And at a certain point, they're going to blacklist you from their server, which means you no longer can send any mail to anybody until you get off that list, and some of them are not easy to do. I mean, you have to go through all kinds of hoops to get off. So you want to try to stay off blacklist, but the volume of emails you send per se will not have any bearing on blacklisting. So I hope that answers the question. Any others? We do have just a couple more minutes left, and we'd be happy to see if there's any other questions. And looking, I don't see anything yet posted, but I do hope that this has been